Hey WWE Universe! Welcome back to All-in-One, your home for the latest WWE updates, breaking news, and epic match recaps. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. Let's jump right into it. For weeks, Monday Night Raw had felt like a show slipping into chaos. The Vision, an enigmatic force operating from the shadows, had twisted the atmosphere into something unrecognizable. Their masked attackers struck at unexpected moments, their enforcers overwhelmed opponents backstage, and their presence created uncertainty that spread like a fog over the entire arena. Superstars looked over their shoulders. Officials whispered among themselves. Fans sensed the tension growing with each episode. Raw no longer felt like entertainment. It felt like a battleground of influence and intimidation. And then, without warning, Roman Reigns' music echoed through the arena, yet something about it felt entirely different. Roman Reigns walks into the unknown. When Roman stepped through the curtain, the usual commanding energy that accompanied him was nowhere to be seen. He didn't carry the aura of the tribal chief, nor did he pause to acknowledge the audience. There was no Paul Heyman behind him. Roman looked focused, steady, and colder than ever before, as if he had walked into Raw not as a champion, but as a man prepared for a confrontation that could reshape everything. Entering the ring alone, he stood beneath the lights with the weight of the entire WWE world seemingly resting on his shoulders. Calling out the shadows. With calm but unshakable conviction, Roman addressed the unseen force that had been manipulating the show for weeks. His words were sharp and deliberate, aimed directly at the Vision even though they weren't physically present. He criticized them for hiding behind masks, proxies, money, and misdirection, relying on secrecy rather than strength. Roman said he didn't respect enemies who lurked in darkness. He respected those who stood face to face and took accountability for their actions. If the Vision wanted to disrupt the world he helped build, then they would have to step out of the shadows and face the consequences directly. A sudden darkness. As soon as Roman lowered the microphone, the arena plunged into total darkness. Not a flicker, but a complete blackout that silenced the crowd instantly. A deep drum beat echoed like a signal. Then another. Slowly, a distorted guitar riff rolled through the speakers, an unmistakable but reimagined version of a theme song that had not been heard in years. Something massive was happening, something that went beyond nostalgia or mind games. A surge of anticipation rippled through the arena. A reveal no one expected with a burst of light. 3 spotlights shone at the top of the stage. In the center stood Roman Reigns, his expression unbreakable. To his right stood CM Punk, a man who had endured weeks of attacks, setbacks, and mind games from unknown enemies. And to Roman's left stood Seth Rollins, stripped of his flamboyant persona and displaying the focus of a soldier prepared for war. The crowd erupted, recognizing instantly that this was not just an appearance. This was a declaration. A trio forged from turmoil. The 3 men walked down the ramp with synchronized precision, reminiscent of a legacy that once defined a generation, but now reborn with a darker edge. Each carried emotional scars and personal history, tension, betrayals, victories, grudges, yet they marched together with a shared purpose. Their presence represented not a reunion, but an evolution. They stood not as former allies, but as 3 leaders who had been pushed to a breaking point by the same enemy. A statement that shook WWE. Once inside the ring, Roman picked up the microphone again. His voice cut through the noise as he declared that the Vision wanted to introduce a new era, and now they had one. Not an era built on secrecy, deception, or manipulation, but one built on direct confrontation. Roman made it clear that he, Punk, and Rollins were not forming a faction for glory or power. They were forming what he called a final strike, a force designed to pull every hidden threat into the light and dismantle the Vision's influence piece by piece. The unexpected alliance. The WWE Universe stood stunned. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, three of the most influential and polarizing figures in modern wrestling, were standing side by side in a united front. Their combined presence created a level of intensity rarely seen in WWE. Their histories were messy, their pasts were filled with betrayals and emotional fractures, yet something greater tied them together now: the determination to end the Vision's grip on Monday Night Raw. The Vision becomes the target. The moment this new alliance took form, everything shifted. The Vision, once operating freely and controlling the tone of the show from the shadows, were no longer the hunters. They became the hunted. Their mysterious structure, masked figures, and hidden agendas were now under threat from three of WWE's top strategists and strongest personalities. The balance of power had changed in an instant. Unanswered questions. But with this shocking development came a wave of questions. Could Roman, Punk, and Rollins truly trust one another after everything they had been through over the years? Their friendships had been broken before, their rivalries were legendary, and their egos, while useful in battle, had the potential to crack even the strongest alliance. The WWE Universe watched closely, wondering if this trio could stay united long enough to achieve their goal. Who will be the first target? Speculation spread immediately. Would the trio aim for the Vision's enforcers first? Would they hunt down the masked attacker who had been sowing confusion throughout Raw? Or would they go straight for the heart of the Vision, seeking out the mastermind controlling everything from behind the scenes? The possibilities were countless, and every one of them carried massive implications for the future of WWE. A new chapter begins. What unfolded was not just a shocking moment. It was the beginning of a new chapter in WWE storytelling. The Vision had brought chaos, but Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins had brought clarity and direction. Their alliance symbolized resilience, strategy, and the willingness to confront challenges head-on. The shadows that once controlled Raw now faced a force determined to bring the truth to light.